If you're a fan of the sport of NASCAR like I am, you probably tuned into the race this past Sunday, which was held down in Mexico City, which is something that we're not used to seeing in NASCAR because this time of year, we're accustomed to them racing on the East Coast. But this time around, they're down below the border racing, which at first I'm a fan of. I like it. I like the idea of racing international because how do you expect to attract a global audience if you don't race outside of the country? So, step number one, going international. They did it. They raced in Mexico City. But from the race weekend, though, there's been a lot of mixed opinions. There's a lot of people speaking very highly of the race weekend and the experiences they had outside the track. But there's a lot of people also complaining about the experience and talking how bad it was. So, I believe that the people that spoke very highly of it got the PR that it needed, but I believe there's a lot of people that spoke very down of it that didn't get the recognition it deserved, but I believe it does need to be talked about. So today I'm here to talk about the bad side of racing in Mexico City, and in my opinion, why Mexico City was a fail. I wouldn't say it was a success, but I think it was a fail. I think it's like when you're in school, you have a grade system up to 100. I think this Mexico City was right around 65. It was below passing, but it was just a high failing grade. It was up there, but it could have been a lot better is what I'm trying to get at. So let's talk about the bad, because there's a lot of bad to talk about here. Freddie Kraft on the DBC podcast, Door Bumper Clear. I highly recommend people listening to that podcast. It comes out every week after the race to talk about the big storylines, and it's very funny also. But he also talked about in that podcast how the Haas factory team and Jordan Anderson Racing had to travel from Charlotte to Atlanta because their flight in Charlotte got canceled. So they had to go to the biggest airport in America to fly down to Mexico City. An 8-hour ride, if I'm not mistaken. I may be getting in that mixed up. But that's a very big ride. And that shouldn't be happening. They should have flew out of Charlotte with ease because they were going to Miami, then to Mexico City. It was like a layover flight, but it made things much worse going to Atlanta. I hate the Atlanta airport with a passion. I go there every October when I go to Austin for the F1 race. I'm not a fan of the airport. I really am not, and I cannot imagine what it was like for them teams going there and going through TSA, because them people work at TSA are ruthless. So, but he talked about how the logistics side there was challenging, but he also talked about how the spotters, journalists, and even photographers at the circuit and outside of it got taxed for stuff they were carrying, like notebooks, cameras, and binoculars, and all the stuff you'll need to have a sufficient day at the racetrack. And they were taxing them, and it was like kind of scams, if you will, because they knew it was scams, but there's really no going around it without stirring the pot. So they just did it and minded their own business and moved on. But you shouldn't be having that. You shouldn't be having that at all. So there goes rule of thumb number one. We got 8 things to talk about, so that's one out the way. Carson Hocevar. Carson Hocevar right now is a center of attention, whether it's Mexico City or racing in general. Carson Hocevar from the Coca-Cola 600 from now has been very competitive. Could have won the Coke 600 if he did not blow up. Had a very competitive car the following week. And next thing you know, finished second and went to Michigan, leading at the end of the race. Heartbreaker. Flat tire. Takes him out of contention. Then he goes to Mexico City. Really not expecting the world from him. He's not a good road racer. And he's already had controversy with Stenhouse Jr. from Nashville. But he gets into the 47, and Stenhouse went to him after the race, told him he's going to have a black eye, he's going to beat him up, and when they get back to the States. So expect Hocevar to show up to Pocono for black eye. But he did not make a lot of friends over this past couple of weeks, and he went on Twitch the other night and called Mexico City an S-hole. I really can't say it without getting demonetized here, but we all know what that means. He called Mexico City practically a crappy place because of the whole situation. Obviously, he's come out to apologize for his comments, but he's doing that because he got caught. He's not doing that because he feels really sorry about it. He's doing that because he got caught and he's being told to do so. And I don't agree with that. I really don't. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I get that he's representing Jeff Dickerson, a clown at Spire Motorsports, and also the sponsors. But at the end of the day, free speech is a thing. Yeah, I just don't like how they fined their own driver $50,000. That is stupid. And especially when you're on the rise right now. If you're Spire Motorsports, you're on the rise. You're going to be competitive. And your driver may get lured away to Hendrick Motorsports. What's going to make him want to stay there? Because definitely the situation right now isn't going to want to make him stay there. It is cancerous right now, if you will, at Spire Motorsports. If I was Hocevar, I would get away from Jeff Dickerson. Jeff Dickerson is the worst thing for Hocevar's career. Dickerson defended Stenhouse Jr. after Nashville. Yes, Hocevar was in the wrong there, but you still got to back your driver. You still have to. I don't like that. Tab Boyd from the 47 team went very ballistic on Twitter about his experiences in Mexico City while he was kind of hustled for some money outside of his hotel. That's going to happen anywhere, but more so in Mexico City, so it's not a good look there. And it's looking like he may be on his way out from Hayek Motorsports, but time will tell there. Armed transportation. So we have all seen the photo right now surface the internet with Carson Hocevar's hauler having 3 armed vehicles. You don't see that going to Chicago. You don't see that going to St. Louis. You don't see that going to any NASCAR race. Mexico City. That's not a good look. If you're traveling with armed force vehicles, you already know you're in the wrong area. So stay away from that. So we have seen F1 go to Mexico City and go on and with ease, and nothing goes on from it. NASCAR goes down there struggling. The difference between that is F1 has a lot more resources, and NASCAR doesn't. So that's why F1 can go to some of these sketchier countries and race without an issue. Drivers, they all got sick this weekend, it seemed like. Ryan Ellis kind of hit it at Twitter that a lot of crew members on the Xfinity side of things got very sick. But we all knew Sunday that Noah Gragson, Ryan Blaney, and your race winner, Shane Van Gisbergen, were all sick of some sort just from the food and drinks like water, tap water they consumed in Mexico City. You really can't say, oh, they got sick, so you can't go back there. I'm just saying, it's like salt on the wound, and it's going to sting, and you can't do that. The mob crowd. I get the fans are passionate for motorsports down there, but they got way too close for these drivers. I felt bad for drivers like Michael McDowell, Todd Gilliland. Yeah, they're spotlight. They're going to be people that are going to be signing autographs left and right when they go to the garage any race weekend. But you don't see a mob crowd just circling around him and damn near tackling him. The security should have been a lot more in play, in my opinion. And then the last thing I want to talk about, Mexico City is on practically the other side of the North America if you're in Michigan. Yes, you got Canada. It goes up very high, but it's a very long way. Why in the world did NASCAR schedule go into Mexico City? It makes no sense at all. You're right there on the northern border with Canada. You could have easily gone to Montreal. Yes, F1 raced there this past weekend, but you could have worked the schedule around and went to Montreal. Montreal is a much safer option than Mexico City. Hell, Sao Paulo is, and Argentina. And Mexico City isn't the best place. And I think this past weekend it was displayed on why we should never go back there, just because of the experiences some of these people had. It was a fun race, in my opinion. It was chilling to see Suarez win in his home crowd in Xfinity, but they should never go back there again.